amputation as an option?
What's that?
How realistic was amputation? Like, was that really
Yeah, it was on the table.
And my other question is, I forgot.
Oh man, that's rough. This is interesting to see your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, and gambling. I'm Nick. Welcome to the show. Today is a Wednesday. That was Tiger Woods at a press conference talking about how his leg could have possibly been amputated, which does happen depending on different situations. Everybody remembers the whole debacle with Alex Smith and whatever, but that poor reporter, he didn't remember what he was going to ask Tiger Woods. That's tough. Today we're talking about college football. We're talking about other stuff. We're going to talk about discipline. Usually Wednesday and Thursday is scandal day, but I didn't find that many scandals. I'm sure I just didn't look hard enough. I'm quite certain there are plenty of them. We're going to start today with some disciplinary action for someone named Lemieux in the National Hockey League. Brendan Lemieux, who I actually don't know, is he related to one of the Lemieux? I don't know. Brendan Lemieux, who plays for Los Angeles, the Kings, he got in a fight against Brady Tkachuk, who is related to the Tkachuks, including the dad, and then there's a brother somewhere in Calgary as well. So Brady Tkachuk, all of these names, guys. Brady Tkachuk plays for Ottawa, and Brendan Lemieux bit him in a fight. He bit him, and you can see the video. Tkachuk's like, look at me, he bit me. Dude, you bit a guy in hockey? You bit a guy. Anyway, he got suspended for 5 games. I couldn't get over that. I could not get over that. I have another hockey clip for you as well. I saw one of the stupidest goals. I used to play youth hockey. It went like this a lot. So the St. Louis Blues are playing I literally can't tell. Looks like the Kings also. Yeah, it's the Kings. And this is they're facing off at center ice. And we're going to hear the breakdown from NHL.com. Are we ready? Here we go.
Change, and this is right off the face-off, and it's a weird bounce that comes off of the side, and it just, I mean, you couldn't do that if you tried. So that's certainly, look at Binnington looking behind the net, expecting it to rim around.
So what happened was the Kings won the draw. They sent it in, right? Just dump and chase hockey, good old-fashioned dump and chase hockey. It bounces off the glass and is bouncing like a basketball, and goes right between one of the best goalie in the world, Jordan Binnington, right between his legs. Oh, absolutely hysterical. In the National Basketball Association, John Wall has returned from injury, but he has not returned from injury. And what I mean by that is the Houston Rockets know that he's capable of playing right now. However, they're like, actually, if we suck for a long time, we can trust the process, just like the Sixers. So they're not going to play him. They're not going to trade him because he costs... Checks notes, $40 million a year. I don't know why anyone in this country who's a freak athlete, anyone, pursues anything other than basketball and baseball. Why would you ever play football? Why? Oh, my God. $40 million? Have another referee situation in the NHL. I'm going to try to turn this up loud as you can hear it. A ref calls a penalty in Buffalo. It's Seattle versus Buffalo. That's right. The Kraken have a professional hockey team. Remember Seattle? He's calling a penalty, I believe, against the Sabres, and he forgets to turn his mic off. So let's just take a listen to what this ref has to say. Hopefully it'll be loud enough. Here we go. Did you hear that? You want to hear it one more time? Let's do it. Wait, one more time. Wait, I missed it. Hold on. Wait, we gotta get the facts right. He says that to a fan. He said that to a fan. Shouts to that guy. I love that. There's no reason that refs can't talk smack. Refs are people too. If they're going to ruin our lives, let them be people. Because it has to suck ruining everybody's life. College football playoff rankings announced last night. Zero surprise at all. Alabama does not suffer moral losses. Everyone else suffers moral losses when they morally lose to Alabama. Georgia won. Michigan 2 after their huge win at home against Ohio State. Michigan has 1, 2, or 3-point loss in the season to Michigan State, a sort of rival. Alabama's number 3, Cincinnati number 4, which is the perfect spot to put them in so that when they drop out, it's excusable. Followed by Oklahoma State, who won Bedlam. They have 1 loss. Notre Dame also has 1 loss, followed by a couple of 2-loss teams. Ohio State, Ole Miss, Baylor, and Oregon rounds out the top 10. Other teams that are sneaking in, you notice Arkansas, A&M, those guys are ranked right now because that makes it look like Alabama has a tougher schedule, obviously. BYU is number 12. If Oregon loses to Utah, It is entirely possible. And Baylor loses to Oklahoma State. So Oregon loses to Utah. Baylor loses to Oklahoma State. It is entirely possible that BYU sneaks into the New Year's Six. They're currently 12, which theoretically would put them in the New Year's Six. However, there are automatic bids involved. Pittsburgh is number 15. Wake Forest is number 16. They play for the ACC championship game, and the ACC gets a bid. So BYU will be fighting, I believe, for a spot that will probably be occupied by Ole Miss or Notre Dame. And Ole Miss and Notre Dame are not in conference championships. Neither is BYU, so the hay is in the barn. So they say for those schools. The other weird part of this is if Iowa beats Michigan, what do we do? Because then we have 3 2-loss Big Ten teams. Iowa has to go to something cool because they won the conference. Then you have Michigan versus Ohio State with 2 losses. Michigan beat Ohio State head-to-head, but we all know how it's going to go down. We all know how this ends. We all know how this ends. All of us. We all know. All of us get it. Cincinnati plays their conference championship against number 21 Houston, which is hilarious because if Cincinnati beats them, it will be another ranked opponent that they beat. They've already beat Notre Dame. However, if they beat Houston, they won't be ranked anymore. How do you not be romantic about college football? That's a little shout to different things. I have a fun NFL stat for you. There are only 5 teams in the NFL that have fewer wins than 5, or 3 wins or fewer right now. 5 teams have 3 wins or fewer. The Lions with 0, the Texans with 2, the Jags with 2, the Jets with 3. The Seahawks, they have 3 wins. I also have another fun stat for you. In the month of November, the tanking Detroit Lions have a better record than the team that they sold their quarterback to, the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 0-3. The Lions are 0-2-1. And the Lions didn't get their ass kicked once in any of those 3 games. Thank you very much. Shouts to the Lions again. Got more fun Lions stats. There are 3 great teams in the NFL right now. Good teams win, great teams cover. Just saying. The best team against the spread right now, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is a god. We are all aware of that. The second best teams against the spread, the Arizona Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. The third best team against the spread, your Detroit Lions. Vegas has a tough time with things that all of the rest of us know are facts. Like that Aaron Rodgers is much better than you actually think that he is. That's just, I mean, I've been watching him for a long time very closely, and I can tell you factually it's really bad. I didn't really think about this, but with Brian Kelly moving to the SEC West has the best coaches in a conference I've ever seen, much less a division. So let's just run him down. I don't know who Brian Harsin is. Who the hell does he coach? Brian Harsin. Is it Arkansas? No. Is it State? No. Ole Miss? No. Auburn? Oh, Auburn, you got to upgrade your shit. Who the hell is Brian Harsin? Okay, well, forget Brian Harsin. He sucks. Sam Pittman, who's a grown man. Then you have Brian Kelly, Nick Saban, Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin, and Jimbo Fisher. It's literally, they should have a Real Housewives of the SEC West. Oh, my God, what an idea. Holy crap. What an idea, because they're all in the South, and everybody in the South will care about that show. Holy shit, what an idea. Real Housewives of the SEC West. That would be bonkers. I'd be into that. Let's take a look at something really interesting here. Cordaro Patterson, who has had the best career renaissance ever. I love Cordaro Patterson, and he is a fantasy football god if you haven't known. So what happened with Cordaro Patterson is he got drafted from Tennessee, I believe in the first, second, third round. A lot of hype. He was incredibly fast, dynamic. He transferred from a JUCO to Tennessee, and he returned kicks. He housed a bunch of really long, beautiful touchdown passes. Gets drafted by, I believe, the Vikings. Nobody knows what to do with him. He's the best kick returner in the NFL, one of the best kick returners in NFL history. And you can watch his highlights. They're gorgeous. And for someone that tall to be able to do what he can do, it's bananas. He sees the field really well, whatever. And he's been doing this for a while. He did it with Vikings. He did it with the Patriots. I think he won a Super Bowl. He did it with the Bears. He was really good with the Bears. But everybody's like, he's so good. We want to work him into the offense. But the other teams have options on offense. So what the Falcons have started doing is they just play him at running back. And they're moving a receiver into the backfield, and they're handing him the ball. He played running back for the Bears a little bit, and Matt Nagy kind of figured that out. But he's not really good at running routes. He's not like dynamic. He can't block very well from the outside. But the Falcons are screwed. He's their only really elite talent on the team except for Kyle Pitts, who's a rookie. And so they put him in the backfield. He's been a fantasy football god. He's like one of the best overall players in the NFL, and he has to be a Pro Bowler, if not an All-Pro. It's unbelievable, but he's adding something else to his resume, and I have to get my glasses here just to make sure I get the facts straight. Okay, so the Falcons who are riddled with injury and who suck. Apparently, they've added him to the defensive depth chart. He's a backup safety. There are packages that have him on the field as safety. Now, most wide receivers like him or tight ends will be on the field as a safety in Hail Mary situations, but this apparently is not that. Apparently, this is like they're going to have him in like deep coverage, and maybe they're going to blitz him. Why wouldn't you? And honestly, and we've seen this with Shohei Ohtani and the Angels. If you've got a freak athlete that can do multiple things, and especially if you're like the Angels and the Atlanta Falcons, and you suck, there's literally no reason not to give a shot. None whatsoever. I absolutely love that. I hope he gets a sack or an interception or something cool like that. Okay, let's take a look at what we're doing now. MLB free agency tracker. Any news? The Detroit Tigers officially ink shortstop Javi Baez. So just a quick update on the famous people. Robbie Ray, who was a Cy Young winner, he's with the Mariners now. The Texans spent $500 million on their middle infield. Still unsigned are infielder, outfielder Chris Bryant, former Chicago Cubs world champion, and former Houston Astros world champion Carlos Correa, who's widely considered the best free agent available. Marcus Stroman for the Mets is unsigned, and so is shortstop Trevor Story from the Colorado Rockies. Chris Taylor, he had some cool home runs in the World Series. He's unsigned. Justin Verlander returns to the Astros. Noah Syndergaard, he's on the Angels, so you get to be Ohtani'd and Syndergaarded by the Angels. Hopefully they'll win one of these days. It's kind of crazy that they suck so bad. I mean, how do you have these good players and you suck so bad? Corey Kluber used to play for the Yankees. He plays for the Rays now. And Steven Matz played for the Blue Jays. He plays for the Cardinals. Cardinals, always sneaky, annoyingly good. All right, updating some interesting futures in the betting market. Bryce Young has been the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy for quite some time now, and now those odds have gone up because he won the Iron Bowl. And C.J. Stroud, who played his ass off against Michigan, his defense did not want to stop the run in the snow, so he lost that game despite clearly being the best player on the field. C.J. Stroud's Heisman odds have gone down. I thought if Michigan wins that game, he wins the Heisman. Or I mean, other way around. If Ohio State wins that game, he wins the Heisman. However, Aiden Hutchinson, who played his ass off, and can have this philosophical argument another time, I thought he barely impacted the game despite having one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen. That just goes to show you that this is an offensive sport. This is a quarterback sport. He got a couple sacks and pressures and stuff, and C.J. Stroud still passed for like 399 yards or something with 2 touchdowns. He barely impacted the game. But regardless, he's played his ass off, and he had a couple big plays. Aiden Hutchinson has rocketed up the Heisman Trophy standings, and we're in a year right now where no one's winning the award. If Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral beats Auburn, I think it's entirely possible he's going to go. But now he was the odds-on favorite for a couple weeks. He's dropped off. Kenny Pickett and Kenneth Walker have shot up at various points, but they've dropped off. I think we're in a situation where we could have like a ton of finalists. The other 2 guys that are not getting enough credit, in my opinion, well, there are 3. Desmond Ridder, the quarterback for Cincinnati, but he's just not dynamic in the same way mid-school guys have been in the past, like Alex Smith. He just isn't. Sam Hartman, the quarterback for Wake Forest. Wake Forest has maybe the best offense in college football. They're bananas. He deserves credit just because they lost a couple games. But the best player in college football, I didn't learn about this guy until yesterday because I was doing a little draft stuff. There's a big argument right now between Kayvon Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson. But I learned who Will Anderson was, who's a sophomore at Alabama. That's the best player I've ever seen with my eyes. I never really noticed him because all those Alabama guys are freaks. When you start to watch the highlights and then you watch like a snap count game, oh my God, I've never seen anything like him. He reminds me of Aaron Donald or Calvin Johnson. We're like, oh, well, that is barely a human. What is this? How can you be he's between 20 to 100 pounds lighter than the guys that are trying to block him, and he beats them with power. I don't understand. It's absolute absurdity. So he's kind of coming up, and he'll have a shot to really do some interesting stuff. Like if he gets a pick 6 in the SEC championship game, you can see that. Jordan Davis, the mammoth defensive tackle for Georgia, he could have a big game. So the Heisman Trophy this year is nobody won it. You know, it feels like I know that for the Nobel Prize for Literature and the Pulitzer Prize for Literature, occasionally there just isn't a winner. I kind of feel like that would be more appropriate than forcing someone to win it. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think anybody wins the award this year. There's nobody this year that is taking it. I don't know. Okay, so the similar thing is happening with the NFL MVP. At the beginning, it was Matthew Stafford is the MVP, but the Rams have dropped off the face of the earth, and Matthew Stafford is on a historic streak of throwing pick 6s, one of which was not his fault. Then you have Kyler Murray. Well, Kyler Murray sat out 3 games, and if Carson Wentz is any proof, you can't sit out, you can't be hurt and win the MVP. You just can't. So he comes back. Maybe he'll finish the year strong. We'll see. Josh Allen and Tom Brady are the leading candidates right now, but it's close. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is probably the most valuable player in professional football. Patrick Mahomes is back in the MVP conversation. You have Justin Herbert is in there. Jonathan Taylor is the highest-ranking non-quarterback because he's a running back, but he's a running back, so he's not going to win. Other guys that are in there, I don't even know. Joe Burrow right now is plus 4,000, which I think is a great bet. I think the Bengals might win the AFC North, but nobody wants to win the MVP. We've seen this. It's just been kind of a strange year in sports. So the first thing that happened that really blew my mind was Atlanta was able to win a championship of something. They won the World Series. And then Michigan wins the big game. So maybe this is a good year for Georgia, or maybe this is a year for a defensive player to win the Heisman, or somebody not a quarterback to win the MVP, but nobody's taking the bull by the horns. And you think, theoretically, that somebody's going to have to finish this year strong. Someone's going to have to do it, but there's no proof of that at all. With the 17th data point in the NFL, it's far more likely that instead of just having more parity, or instead of having a bigger disparity between teams, you're just going to have more parity. There's going to be a lot of teams that are like 9-8. We shall see. We'll take a quick look at some of the betting lines in the NFL. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are favored by 4.5 over the New Orleans Saints. So I found an interesting stat regarding the Saints and their quarterback search. I guess it's not technically a quarterback search, but it's basically a quarterback search. The Saints have started a bunch of different quarterbacks in the last 3 to 5 years. I'm trying to do math. 3 years. Since 2019, Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, and Taysom Hill. Brees is 17-6. Bridgewater was 5-0. Winston 5-2. Taysom Hill 3-1. Trevor Siemian, who they're starting now because of injury, is 0-4. So I'm probably hammering the Cowboys to cover 4.5. I think that is a great bet. We'll preview that game in more detail and hopefully find some scandals. It's usually a scandalous day on Thursday. This is interesting to see. I'll be back and better than ever tomorrow. Like, rate, review, subscribe, follow me on YouTube, etc., etc.